I'm also joined now by Emma James for today's edition of MediaWatch. Hi there, Emma.
Hi there.
You've been looking at some of the reaction to the rather unusual language used by the US president. That's putting it mildly. And he's now, of course, denying he used that unstatesmanlike language.
Yes, absolutely. It is extremely unusual and extremely unstatesmanlike. Did he actually say it? Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment's time. But first of all, let's look at the backlash, because there has been a sizable one. The backlash as strong as the language he allegedly used. This was today's front page of the New York Daily News. SHIT for brains they've gone with, along with a large poop emoji wearing one of the trademark Donald Trump quiffs atop its head. Elsewhere, cartoonists have been giving their take on this. This one from Pat Bagley of the Salt Lake Tribune. And basically he's got Donald Trump coming out of the sewer and sullying the office or the seal of the presidency by dragging poop all across it straight out of the sewer. And this cartoon comes from The Star Kenya, created by Victor Ndula, and it is Trump's White House map of Africa. And basically everywhere is just west of, east of, south of, the essential S-hole that Donald Trump was referring to in those alleged comments. Now, the first people to actually report on this were the Washington Post. They went with the full word in the headline, but it did immediately kick off a debate in pretty much every newsroom around the world to say or not to say, because a lot of people have an issue with going all out and actually saying the word in full. It's not one that we would ever normally use. However, François Cat is among those that has decided to use the word in its full format, both in print and when we're speaking. I'm choosing not to say it. That's my own personal choice. I just think it sounds a little bit ridiculous. When it's coupled with my accent, it just sounds a little daft. So I'm going to go with not saying it. However, many people are, many broadcasters are, and plenty of news outlets are using the full word. The New York Times were among those to say that they want to ensure their readers fully understand the scale of what's being supposed to have been said here. Looking around, though, at some of the reactions, well, this Twitter user raising a good question. I wonder how many little kids are using that word in schools today, because, of course, it has been heard absolutely everywhere. This Twitter user, really a lot more criticism, it would seem, of the news outlets that chose to censor Donald Trump's words or alleged words. Rachel Maddow on MSNBC using instead bleep hole. Please do not bleep the word S-hole. Say it loud and clear. Americans need to hear the words that Donald Trump speaks. This is not normal. And he does have a point. This Twitter user too saying that, are you on the Disney Channel? Just say what he said. Don't sugarcoat it. Others, though, saying things like this. NPR giving a lengthy warning about offensive language was to follow, saying that it's as though their listeners are delicate flowers that they're giving them time to get to a fainting couch before using that language. And this Twitter user says, it's not the language that's offensive, it's the racism. And it is very easy to forget that in the furore over the language, the actual content of what he is alleged to have said.
It's difficult, isn't it? Sometimes quoting what President Trump says. It's not, of course, the first time he's used crude language. But he's now actually saying he didn't use that term at all.
Yes, Donald Trump has taken to Twitter, no surprise, to deny that he used these words. This was his tweet. The language used by me at the Dhaka meeting was tough, but this was not the language used. Talking about, of course, the word S-hole or S-hole countries, as he referred to them. But this delay in denying it really is a win-win scenario for Donald Trump, because his followers either will agree with him or they will be screaming fake news at all of those outlets who've been reporting his remarks for hours and hours with no denial from the White House. James Woods, the actor who is very much pro-Trump, has said this: without passing judgment on the merit of a president using that expression, I guarantee not a single person who voted for him disagrees with him, not one. And that is an interesting take. MSNBC, they're reporting that of those who were in that meeting, Senator Dick Durbin is among them, a Democrat, it has to be said, who has confirmed that there is nothing inaccurate in the reporting of what was said by Donald Trump in those meetings. He said things that were hate-filled, vile and racist, and he said them repeatedly. It's also worth noting as well that Fox News, which is very much considered the mouthpiece of Donald Trump at times, they actually say that they got it confirmed too, so they're not denying it happened. They said they spoke to a source who was in the meeting who said the president was referring to people from Haiti, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Honduras and African countries in the temporary protected status program. So not only did they believe it, but they've also been defending it online. Some of the hosts talking about Donald Trump is just talking to his base.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed for that. Emma James with today's edition of Media Watch. Thank you so much again.